this, that always gets you when you turn that recording on. You're right in the middle of talking. Anyway, I just wanted to welcome everybody back, and I wanted to introduce Phil from Leopard Solutions. He's here this afternoon to give you guys a demo and, you know, provide some information about his product. So go ahead, Phil.
All right, great. Thanks, Teresa. Thanks, Corey. Thanks for having us on here. For those that don't know, I'm Phil Flora, Vice President of Sales and Marketing here at Leopard Solutions. I'm going to give you guys a quick little overview of our database, talking through some of the use cases of how Leopard Solutions could assist law schools. We currently help law schools in a few different areas with job placement for career services. We offer some jobs, access to open and available jobs at law firms. We also provide attorney contact information and biographical information. We've been tracking attorneys for almost 20 years, both law firm and in-house attorneys. And then we also have a lot of intelligence on over 4,200 law firms that we update twice a week. So it's very useful for just law firm research, for fundraising, advancement, development, and obviously career placement. Those are primary uses and needs. So let me jump in and share my screen. Okay, and if anyone has any questions, feel free to chime in. Teresa, you can see okay? You see my screen okay?
Yep, it looks
okay,
great.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. So as I mentioned, Leopard Solutions, we've been around for about 20 years collecting data on law firms and attorneys, both law firm attorneys and in-house attorneys. Right now, currently, we have over 4,200 law firms that we track and update twice a week, with close to 330,000 attorneys in that law firm database. We collect data on attorneys such as where they went to law school, when they graduated, diversity data, information such as the type of work they do, practice areas, specialties, a lot of different data points that, you know, basically anything and everything that you would expect to see is database, and it's also searchable. We also roll that information up to the law firm. So each of the 4,200 plus law firms in our database shows a profile of those firms and shows information such as lateral movement, financial data, client data, promotional data, growth and decline in headcount, and gives you just diversity data and just a lot of general information that you can supply to your students and the professors and the folks just doing general research on law firms. There's a lot of search queries that you could run that could be very useful for a lot of those different functional areas that I talked about before, like career planning and fundraising, development, and so on. And I want to run through a couple of those right now. I'm going to start with probably one of the areas that I think would be of most use for the law school, because we do track, in addition to the information about the law firm and the individual attorneys, open and available jobs that are currently at a lot of the firms that are listed in our database. And this is specifically tailored for law schools. So it's going to show you a lot of the recent openings that are opened up every day. You can track these, set alerts, and be notified as new openings come up, as jobs close, as jobs get relisted and changed. And they're very, very specific to either future graduates or people that are maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 years out of school. So you could certainly help not only your current students, but your recent graduates as well find opportunities. You can search for jobs in a variety of ways. You can look based on location. You could look based on work type. You could search specific firms and see who's got open jobs. You can search based on specific JD years. So again, if you had a particular, either a current student or someone that just recently graduated and they were looking for a particular job that a law firm's posting, and the law firm is looking for maybe someone with 1 or 2 years of experience, or they're looking for someone right out of law school, it'll be posted in the job description. There's languages, honors, the type of jobs. So if you're looking for summer associates, student clerk positions, internships, any other types of full-time and placement associates and so on, you can specify those in your searches, along with the type of work and salary range if interested. So for example, if we were just looking for jobs, let's say in the Northeast, let's pick New Jersey and New York, for example. We're going to look at JD years. So folks that maybe recently graduated to folks that are about to graduate, and see what kind of open jobs are available in those locations. So there are over 430 open jobs in New York and New Jersey where they're clarifying JD years of 2019 to 2022. And when you look through them, you can see a lot of information related to where the location of the job is, the type of work it is, what type of job it is, if it's a legal internship or a specific practice area associate, and so on, the description of the job, those JD years, when it was posted, contact information to reach out to the law firm, any changes recently, and so on. And then you could set up alerts to track these. The other interesting aspect of this is as you're talking to the student, you want to advise them on potentially what's happening at the firm, is that you can click on the firm name here, and it'll actually bring up their report, their firm report. So this is where you can get basically everything that you want to know about the firm itself. So as you're doing general research on looking at what potential opportunities there are for work at those schools, at those firms, you can also then get a little bit more information about the firm themselves, such as information related to diversity, the structure of the firm from a diversity perspective, the type of work they do. They're mostly this particular firm is primarily real estate. Where their offices are and the breakdown of associates and partners and counsels. Again, here's the 2 open jobs they have open, 26 total attorneys, any attorney movement over the last 12 months. So in this particular example, they've lost 4 attorneys in the last 12 months and gained 7. So it shows some the relative growth that the firm is experiencing. If they've been struggling, that it could be useful information as you're looking for a prospective firm to work at. We project out financials for firms under the AmLaw 200, and we list publicly traded or publicly available AmLaw numbers here, if interested. Where you see where those attorneys came from and where they left is listed. Top management, potential competitors. So if you're interested in this firm, potentially other firms that you might be looking at would be listed. The breakdown of schools, so where those attorneys that currently work at this firm, where they came from. So this right here, that means they have 1 attorney that graduated from a top 10 school based on the US News and World Report rankings. They have 3 partners in the top 10 schools, and they have the other ones here. And every one of these fields is clickable. So when you click on it, you'd actually see the names of the folks along with where they are. Growth and decline for the firm over the last 12 months. So this firm is actually up 17%. They had 1 entry level hire where it says new, 1 entry level hire, and they had 7 laterals that they brought on. So it's just a lot of useful, general information on the firm that you can track using our alert feature as well. So again, you can keep tabs as things change. Okay. Another useful way to use this as you're doing general research on a law firm, you can go to our Firmscape tool, and there's a lot of different reports. So we looked at that Firmscape report for a firm, and that kind of brings together a lot of the data into one individual report that you can look at for that one firm. But let's say you wanted to run some analysis on certain markets, potentially look at information specific to your firm. Where are your graduates going? How long do they stay at a firm? How often do they move? How does that compare against other schools? There's a lot of ways you can analyze that data. So let's say, for example, we want to start off by just getting an analysis of the market. So we could run a report in here, looks at all 4,200 law firms in our database. And let's say we want to see all of the attorneys from a particular school. So I'm going to choose, and I don't know if they're on the call or not, but I'm going to choose Rutgers as an example. And I'm going to say, in this report, what this is going to do is it's going to show basically where all of the Rutgers attorneys are within all 4,200 law firms. So we have 700 firms in our database that shows an active person that graduated from Rutgers at some point or another in the past. And then what we're going to show is a list of those firms basically by numbers of graduates from Rutgers. So when you look at this, I sorted this and you'll see Fox Rothschild comes up first. They're in Philly and all over, but they're headquartered in Philly. They have 54 Rutgers grads. They got their JD from Rutgers, 54 of those attorneys. And again, this is a clickable number. You can click on and look at it. But that number only makes up 5% of the entire firm. There's 975 attorney firm. And that's what that 5% stands for. If you wanted to look at it by percentage of attorneys, you'll actually see here's a 5 attorney firm in Cherry Hill that has 3 Rutgers grads versus the 5. So this gives you a different way to look at it. You can look at it from, okay, where all my graduates go and where do we have the highest, penetration. If you were looking to maybe do some job fairs or stuff like that, you'd be able to bring some of those folks in from those specific firms. Those could be good gateways for a lot of your graduates to go to. And again, every one of these is clickable. So if you look at this list of 28, you click on that number and you'll see the list of attorneys. And when you do that, you get all the data that we collect on those attorneys in one place, along with links to their law firm website and LinkedIn and all the information specific to the type of people, who they are and what the type of work they do. Okay. Another kind of useful report in Firmscape is an analysis of how your school is doing, specifically with regards to, how many associates left your law school or joined a firm, fresh out of, let's say, law school last year. And you can do some comparisons looking at that. So I'm going to do all firms. I'm going to group the results by schools. And then I'm going to say, show me, looking back at January of last year, 2021 to 12/31/2021. So all of last year. So any new hire, new entry-level associate that joined a law firm during last year, which schools produced the most of those? And then in addition to that, how many of those are still at that firm after joining just within the last 12 months? Because a lot of times you'll see people, that'll leave, go to a firm and then leave very quickly and go to another firm. So this kind of tracks that as well. So I'm going to hit submit here. And when you look at this, you'll see a list of all the schools, how many people that they have that entered a law firm during this time period last year. And then how many people exited basically within 3 years, which means they've exited already and they've only been there for, basically a little over a year. And then if this is sorted right now alphabetically, but if we sort it by highest number, you'll see it kind of just goes down the list from here. Again, each of these numbers is clickable. You can see the average. So 88% of entry-level associates that joined a firm just within the last 15 months have stayed, which means like just about a little less than 12% don't even last that long. They move from one firm to the other. It just shows, the extreme volatility right now in the associate job market at a lot of these law firms. Okay. You can also look at this from a different perspective. So let's say we want to look at just one individual school. Let's say you're at your own school and you want to look at, for example, I'm going to use Virginia in this example here. And I'm going to group this list by firms instead of by schools. And I'm going to look at we'll do the same time period. So this is looking at, anyone that graduated from Virginia law during and entered a law firm, any one of the law firms we have in our database during last year, during 2021. So you'll see here, looking at the list, you can sort this again the same type of way. You'll see the firms that they accepted a lot of the Virginia grads, how many came in during last year, and again, how many exited since then already, and how many have stayed, and so on. So you can go through. There's the full list of firms. A lot of large Am Law 200 firms, but then you'll also see some, some under top 200 firms, because again, we're tracking almost 4,200 of them. Okay. You can look at this also from a lateral perspective. So maybe in the last 4 years, how many folks, basically lateraled either at the associate level, partner level, council level. And you can really analyze data and cut it a variety of ways. And it could really help you with a lot of information as you're doing kind of outreach to students to join your school, but also to showcase to the students you have at the school, which firms that you guys, that when you get there, these are the folks that, stay the longest. That we tend to have the longest retention at these firms versus other firms. It gives you a lot of useful intel that way. Coming up, I think we got a few more minutes, right? Jumping over to just the simple, straightforward tool, which is our Leopard List law firm attorney database. This is where you can kind of run reports looking for specific attorneys, based on a lot of different data points that we have here, based on where the attorney is located, their practice area, their specialties, keywords. So this is basically searching their bios, the types of attorneys, you can search on law firms, schools again. So, in a lot of different factors here. So again, this is where if you were in, let's say, fundraising or development, you could use this tool to find all your, basically all the graduates that we have in our database. So I'm going to use again Virginia as an example, and we're going to hit submit. And so there's 4,700 people right now actively in one of the 4,200 law firms in our database that graduated from Virginia law. And it gives you a list. This is all sorted by firm name, but it gives you their names, their phone numbers, JD year, when they graduated, all the data and detail that we have on that person here. We also list a lot of their history. They give you a sense of how long those individuals have been at that firm, if they've moved around a lot, or if anything like that. So this can all be exported out to Excel, and you can utilize it for outreach purposes or inviting for networking events and fundraising and so on. Again, this field right here, where the firm name is, you click on it, and you'd be able to bring up that firm report that we looked at, which basically databases all the data that we have at the firm level and puts it in one place. Okay. All right, Teresa, how are we doing on time? Do we have any questions from anyone?
We've got about 2 minutes left, Phil. There's no questions in the chat right now, but feel free if anybody wants to drop them in there.
Okay. All right. A little bit about our in-house product, because we do track about 80,000 in-house corporate counsel from about 8,000 US-based companies. We have very similar data on all those in-house corporate counsel folks. So you can do searches based on JD year and school and a number of other things. Again, those are harder folks to track down. And I think maybe more students might be looking to even go directly in-house. So that could be a good opportunity to look at that as well, as a completely different pathway, as opposed to the law firm world. So we have all that in-house data. We do track also news. We collect a lot of our data. Again, it gets updated twice a week. We collect a lot of the data from law firm websites, press releases, news pieces. There's information again about, like you'll see on the right side here, our hotspot news, recent appointments, client representation, office openings, closings. All of this information is also profiled in those law firm reports. So it pulls together a lot of that extra, kind of current information that you might find in the out on the open web. Okay. All right. Any questions?
The cost. Someone's asking the cost.
So go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
Teresa.
you go ahead, Phil.
Yeah. So on those, there's essentially a couple of different tiers of packages. If you'd like, I know we're recording this, Teresa, so we could send this around. I could send around with it the different tiers and the packages, and that's fine. One thing I did want to point out, though, really for new customers right now, because typically the subscriptions go run July 1 through June 30th. If someone wanted to come on board, if they did want to come on board before then, we would give just the remaining couple of months or whatever it is until June 30th at no cost. So it's sort of like a promotion we're offering right now. So, but yeah, I can share that with them afterwards if that makes sense, Teresa.
Yeah, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. We have how many law schools currently subscribe? We just talked about this.
So I think we have about a half dozen
Yeah.
current NELCO members. There's a few other non-NELCO folks, but I know you guys kind of have the majority of most of the law schools out there are members. But yeah, so I think about a half dozen right now are current subscribers.
And then we had somebody ask, when do you update your data?
So we update it twice a week on basically Tuesday night and Thursday night. We're gathering our data, basically from data that's out on the open web, and we're pulling that data in. We have a data team of about 25 or 30 people that reads through every single record and bio page of every individual attorney that we highlight, and then we update the data and we publish it right away. So yeah, it's extremely current and up to date and accurate.
All right.
Thank you
And
so.
this is on Consortium Manager. The product is listed on our platform. So if you have any questions or, about pricing or anything, you can contact me or Phil.
Yep.
Doesn't really matter. And we can direct you in the right direction. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, no
Thank
worries.
you so much.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. And we hope to see some of you at the roundtables that are starting up in about 10 minutes. Thanks
Awesome.
again.
Thanks again, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.